we're not in the northwest well field, we could drill this deeper.
Did they ever talk about the option of going out versus going down? Did they say anything about that? Because they own all that land, and you wonder what they want all that land for if they're gonna go deeper.
They're exploring every option and see what's best financially for them.
They indicated at the meeting their plan would be to head towards Carrollton Road, and I think they said, Tony said they wouldn't get to Carrollton Road. He wouldn't see it in his lifetime.
How old is he?
That's probably in 30 or 40 years.
Well, if we're not gonna go with well 3 to well 5, then I think we need to do well 7. I just don't think we have lots of options. It's a key part of the plan, and if we do it next year, it's gonna be more money. And it also won't give us an option, one of those options.
Yeah, I don't think anything gets cheaper as time goes on.
What does Butler Fairman say about the North Well Field? Is it too expensive to, what's the big, I mean, we go out there, we find water that is somewhat acceptable, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's across the river, of course, and, you know, there's all those obstacles that you have to deal with.
Well, in the short term, it takes a long time to get it here. It's like very expensive. You've got 20-inch pipe running 4 miles, plus you gotta have a booster station, plus you gotta have a tank out on where well 5 is.
Iron and manganese treatment.
Yeah. It's a great option. If it was half a mile from town, it'd be fantastic,
We
but
haven't discussed price of property.
Land acquisition,
Anyway.
right-of-way acquisition. We do it.
And that's part of the aeration too, is I believe BFNS is designed that for, in the future, we can use that tank that we're gonna use for aeration, for a storage tank, so. We're kinda doing some stuff we can reuse in the future with the booster station and the tank each for the aeration, so. If we decide to go that route, yeah. In the long-term future.
I think long-term future, we need to look that way, but in the short term, it's gonna be less expensive to stay in the current aquifer if we're at a depth of 400 foot. It limits our risk of the interference with U.S. aggregates.
If everything's so expensive to connect and bring in and everything like that, why did we drill out there in the first place?
Drill out at Northwest Wellfield.
Where you're talking on the other side of the river?
because that's when Packard was looking for another 1 million gallons a day, and it wasn't available here.
I understand the concept of the idea of trying to find more water. I'm just asking, why did we, did we not know it was gonna be atrociously expensive to get that water back here? When we drilled out there, why did we drill out there if we knew it was gonna be that expensive?
It's less expensive if we have RDC participation. If we're getting 3 million gallons a day and we're providing the RDC with 500,000 gallons a day, they're providing a sixth of the cost of the water, which effectively reduces the citizens' burden by half. So although it's a lot larger cost to go north, it may be less than if we don't have RDC participation. It is less, the city's share, if we don't have, or I don't know, whichever way it is. RDC participating, we have 3 million gallons a day with pumping. That's a lot less expensive for the city of Delphi.
So they're not participating in that anymore, is that what you're saying?
Well, if we can't provide them with anything extra, more than we have now, I don't see why they would participate. We can't provide them with additional capacity at this time, we can't get it up to South Hill. Right now, we don't have it. And would we go to the Northwest Wellfield to get another 500,000 gallons a day? It isn't feasible. I mean, the costs, the way it's split out, it'd be a lot higher in that instance too.
At that time, Packers was looking at doubling their capacity, their needs. And the RDC was looking at potentially 500,000, potentially. So we needed to come up with 1.5 million gallons if we were gonna meet that demand. And with the wells that we have here, without aeration, there's no way we could have done that. If we went out to North Wellfield, which there could have been potentially 4 wells, there's like 2 that are drilled now, and there at least
There's
just
one.
one that's drilled, but it's in the Taze River, so it's unlimited, and it's good water. So it's a question, do you treat what you have locally here? Or do you go out there and get water? And the other thing is, what's the real demand? Is Packers still demand for 1 million gallons a day? RDC may have a demand of 500,000, they don't today, but somebody could walk into the EDC and say, we wanna build a plant out here and we need 300,000 gallons a day, and what do we say to them? We don't have it.
If that could potentially pump that much volume, why isn't that the future then?
That is the future,
The North
Why aren't we
Wellfield,
pursuing that instead of nickel and diming us here in town then?
because we need to get by in the next few years.
How long would it take to develop the other?
3 to 4 years probably, minimum,
Maybe 5 years. Depends on the financial side of things too. Are we gonna subsidize the cost of a 20-inch main for 4 miles? Without increasing the capacity? Like, that's-
Seems to me if we've gotta do it, we've gotta do it. And that might be it might take us a while, but that would be the answer if it's gonna solve it on the long run.
The other issues, do we have 4 or 5 years with well 4 and 5?
Mhm.
I mean, that's something we just don't know for sure.
None of this is very well known. I mean, even Peerless, when he was talking the other night, or the other day, said he didn't know for sure. He was going off of, I assume, going off of figures and everything like that.
Right. Best guess based on the aquifer and based on where they know the fissures are.
Mhm.
They're not gonna pinpoint it, because there's
Right.
no way of knowing.
There is a way to know. We spend $111,000 and drill a well and know what the quality and quantity of water is, and have it available for future use.
If it was easy, it'd already been done, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
There's probably no question that the ratepayers are gonna pay more money. How much, we don't know for sure, but probably not what some fears are. I'm sure people look at the glass being half full and some will look at it being half empty, and
The other day, you talked at the RDC meeting about, talk about pumping water in from Flora. Has that been checked out, or is that feasible, or have you checked into that at all?
I've talked to Mr. Ayers over in Flora. I've talked to Peerless. I don't believe it's feasible. It's possible, but I don't think it's economically feasible to pump 9.5, 10 miles, when we have a source of water that's 4 or 5 miles north, that we could tap into. That's too expensive right now anyway. I've looked, I don't know if it's IDEM or DNR has their wells listed online and what their capacities are. I think their firm capacity right now is 800 gallons a minute. We would need 900 gallons a minute to maintain where we are right now, plus whatever their needs are. I think they're using 250,000 a day, so I don't know what that translates into for gallons per minute. I believe they have iron and sulfides over there, so they would probably need additional filtration and aeration. It doesn't seem like the feasible option.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions from the council?
The other day I was told that, north of town here, out on Carrollton Road, that the river that Dick mentioned runs through and underneath the Peterson farm. I was told by that by Mr. Joe Hildebrand, who's been around here all his life. And I'm wondering, the well that we're drilling out there, if that well will hit that river or not.
So the well 7 would not. Well 7's in our current limestone aquifer. We have dug one well, we dug two actually, one on the Cole property in 2015, which was on the south side of the river.
Right.
And one on the Vandervolgen property, when was it, 16 or 17?
16, I believe.
On the north side of the river. Both of those were in the Tage River. The problem with drilling on the south side of the river is that the distance between the land and the groundwater, I think it was only 8 foot out at Coles. And we saw nitrates in the amount of 11 or, no, it was 13.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's parts per million, micrograms per liter. 10 is the acceptable threshold. So we saw too many nitrates on this side of the river due to how close the groundwater is to the surface. On the other side of the river, we have like 120 foot between the groundwater and the surface. We've got clay layers, gravel, stone, stuff that keeps the nitrates from infiltrating in.
Okay.
But the well that we drilled in 2016 was in the Tage River.
Okay.
Any other questions? Do we have any other questions? Do we have a motion?
I move that we drill well 7 according to the Peerless quote dated February 15th, 2018.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the contract with Peerless Midwest for $111,280 to drill well 7. Do we have any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Or anything else that we want to talk about today? Anything from the council? All right, hearing nothing, I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
It is 9:45.